This is Deano with Twisted Mesquite Land and Cattle. Today we're doing a review video with Deano. This is his second week in our program. We're just going to go over some groundwork, kind of where we're at right now, and I'll show you some things we're working on, and we'll just get to it. With him, one of these things I like to do is get his feet moving. Notice one of the things that he does is he's kind of disrespectful and just pushy, and that's just young colt stuff. That's just things that we address once these horses are in our program, and this groundwork helps a lot with that kind of stuff. And a big part of that is when you're asking them to, like, you're being clear when you're asking them to move out, being clear, being concise, and then rewarding them when they do what you ask. See, and he stopped, he relaxed, took a big breath, licked his lips, and so he's paying attention to me, and he's responding to what I was asking him to do. Like right there, it was good. He was anticipating me changing directions. He already started thinking about it, and then when I asked him to go, he pretty much went off and went. I kind of followed through with kind of twirled this flag at him a little bit there at the end, because he was pushing into me right there. And with him, I want this horse to respect my space. I want this horse to move when I want him to move when I ask him. And again, this is going to help with a lot of that disrespect. And some of those signs for disrespect are pinning their ears, nipping at you, pushing over top of you, not listening when you're asking them to move, when you're asking them to go somewhere, those kind of things. And so, we do our groundwork, we send them somewhere, we're having them do something. So right there, we're just lunging them, changing directions. Now I'm going to do our desensitizing. One of the things this horse did when he first come in, he really didn't like being messed with. He thought it was an inconvenience to come over here, to pat on him, to rub on him, be around him. He'd pin his ears, kind of start nipping at you, all those kind of things. And this groundwork, this pattern that we do, putting their feet to work and then stopping them and doing our desensitizing, kind of gets these horses thinking about, hey, this isn't such a bad deal when this guy's rubbing on me, or this guy's messing with me, or those kind of things. They start to enjoy it, and so it's triggering that in their mind. Of course, not that big a deal. Another thing we've been working on is our flexing here. I want to get this flexing really good, because it ties into our one rein stops, our steering, everything as we go to prepare this horse to ride him. Right here, I'm just waiting for him to stop his feet and get soft right here. There. We're just simply taking the slack out of this rein, waiting for him to stop his feet and get soft. Same on this side. What we do on one side, we need to do on the other side. he's just kind of swatting at some flies right now, so it's kind of what his head shaking and doing that kind of stuff. But like I said, I saddled him once before. He's been saddled a time or two prior to coming here. We'll saddle him again and just kind of show you what we do. So I treat this pad and the saddle just like our flag or just like our lead rope, all those kind of things when we're doing our groundwork or desensitizing. I mean, we just send it up. You know, we don't want to sneak around. We don't want to have it be a problem. We want them to know it's coming, want them to accept it, or it's no big deal, no problem. Rub this pad all over him. Same with the saddle. If he was to be concerned about it or worried about it or anything, I might take a few steps back, take things slower, make sure he's good with it. But he's pretty accepting of this saddle. Bring his head back around to me. You always want to keep that head tipped towards you, whatever side you're working. So that's where it helps teaching them how to flex. That way you can keep this horse's head tipped towards you and it's no big deal. But just in case, especially when you're saddling or getting on or doing anything really, you want to keep that horse's head tipped towards you a little bit, so that if there was, if that horse was to react or spook or run off or doing anything, you have that horse's head, and it keeps that, automatically will keep that hip away from you, and that hip will go away because you have that head tipped towards you. Right there, he was just kicking at a fly right there. But that's a good example. So when you're saddling, you always want to, I always put this back cinch on. Always put this back cinch on when I'm saddling, even for the first time. And you always want to make sure it's tight enough where if they do kick like that, they don't put their foot up underneath that cinch right there. Sometimes they can get their foot hung in that cinch if it's too low. Anyway, this is how he pretty much handled it yesterday. We kind of worked him, see how he was going to handle it, see if it was going to be a big deal. Make sure he carries that saddle right there. Right there, I just drove that shoulder away from me some. Again, when these more pushy type horses, they may have a tendency to push over top of you when you're lunging them, when you're changing directions, and so I need to make sure that horse drives away from me, drives that front end away from me when he's changing directions, and not pushing over top of me. He's respecting my space. With him, I'm just going to send him out of it. Keep his feet moving right there. Some horses I may disengage and have them stop and slow down. With him, he just got a little bound up, and so I want to keep him just flowing out of there, keep him moving, let him work that out. And then we'll let him stop and rest a little bit right there. Get that hip squared with me. with him, we're again just letting him carry the saddle. Yeah, it should be right there next to that pole. Okay, so I let him kind of rest a little bit right there. He did good. He wasn't moving his feet, he just stayed still. That's a big thing for him. It's helping him learn patience and respect. So and I said, after we moved him around, I'm gonna start seeing how he handles this saddle. I want to make noise with this saddle. I want to slap these stirrups. These are all things that I want to make sure are really good. So when we go to ride him, none of this noise or flapping around worries him. And it's all going to help us have a better first ride, and a good first ride leads into good rides after that. Picking this back cinch up, having that hit his belly, make sure he's good there. Kind of working on some of that back up there, keeping him out of my space. Overall, like I said, that second time saddling him, some of the groundwork we've been doing with him, just getting him prepared for that first ride. After this, we're going to tie him up, let him kind of learn some patience, and just keep him going. So that'll be our review video for this week.